Hi you guys, welcome back. I am jumping in with a little bit of a watercolor painting for June. It's not the cover page, I'm going to do the cover page next, but I just wanted to paint a little beach scene just to kind of take up the space. So I'll stop talking so you can watch that. So for my June cover page, I am just writing out Hello June with a dark gray paint pen in the same faux calligraphy that I've been doing for a little while now. Then I'm going to go in and use my watercolors to paint somewhat rectangular blobs as light or pastel-y as I can get them. And these are going to be the base for little boba tea doodles. I am taking inspiration, and basically I'm doing the same theme as Amanda Rach Lee. In her June Plan With Me video, her theme was bubble tea. So I'm doing a very similar cover page to her, except I'm using watercolors because I don't have pastel markers like she does. All of my markers are pretty vibrant, and I wanted to stick with that lighter pastel theme. And then as soon as that dries, I'm going to outline with a Sakura Micron fine liner in 05. So now that those are all drawn in and the other painting is dry, I'm going to just remove all of the washi tape around the edges. So next up, as you can see, is the monthly calendar for June, and I'm doing things a little bit differently this month. I am erasing all of the outlines because I'm going to be watercoloring, But instead of having my calendar one big block, I do have spaces in between them. So these are 5 by 5 squares with 2 spaces between each square. And I'm just erasing all of my pencil marks so that when I watercolor and use my paint pens, I don't have to worry about trying to erase through watercolor. And I'm trying to keep with that really light and pale, almost pastel theme that I did with the boba teas. So you'll see on the ones that I do get a little too much pigment to begin with, it's kind of out of screen, but I wipe off the brush and add a little bit more water and diffuse the color a little bit more. This is also really similar to Amanda's monthly spread, but I lay mine out a little bit differently. My week starts on Sunday instead of Monday, so that's the main difference. And again, using my watercolors instead of markers, and also the fact that I think my sizing and my shaping is a little bit different too, probably just because of the medium that I'm using, but yeah. And because these spreads are so similar to what Amanda did, I'm going to link her video in the description box below, just because her video is really, really amazing and mine is not as amazing. Well, in its own way, I guess. It's cute, but I'm going to link her video below, as well as, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've kind of goofed on this half of the page where I accidentally made the squares too wide and then started to make them too tall as well, so I'm kind of fixing them up, but I think it's kind of nice to change things up sometimes. I think I get a little too stuck in my routine and my habits, and it's nice to kind of just have something a little bit different to work with and play with, and maybe not be so uptight and straight-lined. If you've seen any of my other monthly spreads, you know that I'm a big fan of using a straight edge ruler and having perfectly outlined squares, so it's kind of nice to have a little bit more relaxed of a spread this month. And while those dry, I'm going to write out June of 2019 at the top, again using kind of a faux calligraphy style. It's not the greatest because my paper is still wet, so I'm trying not to just stick my hand in the wet paint, but I think it turned out pretty muchly okay. Now I'm going in and putting a black circle at the top of each day, and this is where I'm going to be writing the date. And I did realize when I went in with my paint pen that I made them a little too small, but I'm honestly not too worried about it. I can pretty much tell where the dates are and what day it is, because I really only use this to glance at. But this is my white paint pen that I'm going to use, and I did try to kind of highlight June, but really didn't work out that well, but that's okay. And I'm just going to add in a few more little boba doodles along the edges and in some of the free space. Next up are my healthy habits and grocery list pages. So I'm just going to quickly write groceries at the top of where I'm going to put my grocery list. And that's all I need to do for that page. And then on this page, I'm doing healthy habits. Again, in the same faux calligraphy, except instead of filling in the, fat sides of the lettering, I'm leaving them open. And then it's pretty similar to what I did last month with the calendar layout, but instead of just outlining it, I'm painting in, again with somewhat pastel-y or pale colors, the shape of the month, and then I will put a dot on the days that I complete my habits. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I like to keep a sleep tracker. So last month I filled in the word May with watercolors. This month I am doing 3x3 squares, and I'm doing them as really rough squares. I'm not being very exact with them, and these are all going to be in the shape of the month again, basically a monthly calendar. And as I get to each day, I will be painting in the square with a color that corresponds to the number of hours of sleep that I got, and I will have that key up in just a moment. These next two pages are pretty quick and easy. It is just the monthly astrology forecast for the month of June, as well as a new moon on June 3rd, little excerpt from like kind of what to expect for that new moon. And then I just quickly wrote the title of the June budget page. And on this page, I'm just filling in the new moon, full moon, and then the half moons throughout the month. I'm adding in my paydays and when my bills are due, as well as days that I work. I haven't filled in the days that I work yet, just because June's schedule is going to be a little bit different for me. So I'm waiting to do that until I have my set schedule. And just double checking where all of my bills are going to be due and marking them in. And that brings us to our final flip through of this month and all of the spreads that I have in it so far. I'm sure you'll see my weekly spreads if you keep an eye on my Instagram page, and be sure to check out the description box for Amanda's video. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye.